Just a quick tutorial to teach you how to use the layers in my patterns. So we're looking at the Eevee pattern here, and so once you've downloaded from Etsy or from my website, you'll see that there are four files. So one of them's the spec, which has all the technical information, trims, seam allowances, size charts, lay plans, etc. The sewing instructions are colour photo sewing instructions, which I do recommend just reading off a device instead of printing that. It will preserve some of the picture quality if you just keep it on the screen as opposed to printing, and also they do tend to be about sort of 6, 7, sometimes more pages long, which can get expensive if you're not doing it at home. And then we've got two pattern files. So we've got the A4 or US letter file, and we've got the A0 file, which is large format. So that's the one that you take to a copy shop and they print it out on one large sheet of paper. So today we'll be looking at the A4 or US letter file. So it's the same file for A4 and US letter. It will just print on either of those paper sizes. So we can open that up. I'll double click that and it will just automatically choose Acrobat for me. You may have Adobe Reader is probably your default software to open that, but it's essentially the same. All right, so I'm just going to make this a bit smaller so we can see a little bit more. There we go. Now the pattern is sized 6 to 9 months up to 8 year. I want to print off 5 year only, so I want to just hide all the other sizes from the file before I press print. So I'm going to go over to the left hand side. Now I'm on a Mac. If you're on a PC it might look a little bit different, but you know the information is there. It just may look a little bit different to what you're seeing on my screen now. So as we go over to the left here, it says layers. So I'm going to click on that. And you can see that the pattern is separated into all the different sizes. Now, and you can see to the left of the sizes is a little eye icon. So that just means it's visible or not visible. If you press it and the eye disappears, so does the corresponding size. So I'm going to turn off everything except for 5 year. But I am going to leave the very last layer, which is the essential information. So this is information that needs to be present for every size, and if I turn that off you won't know what it is or how many to cut, etc. So we just have to remember to leave that on. Now if I didn't know really what size I wanted to print, and I'm not used to paper doll patterns, I might choose a 4 year and a 5 year, print them both off, and then at least if you make a size 5 and you go, oh, it's a bit big, then at least you can refer back to the pattern that you've printed and see, you know, how much to take off each piece if you want to size it down. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to print off one size. So as you scroll through the pages, up here you can see there's 16 pages. As you scroll through, you'll see that there is only size 5 present. Scrolling through, and so not some pages there's no wording on them, but that you can see that's the 5 year line. When you join them together you will be able to see which piece is which. Okay, so only size 5 is there. If you are choosing one of the smallest sizes, let's just do it now, so 6 to 9 month is the smaller size, you will see that some of the pages aren't actually required, and this is because the pattern pieces are really small. So if I clicked on the 8 year, you'd see that actually you would need page 16, but because we're not printing 8 year, nothing from the 6 to 9 month pattern falls on that particular page. So instead of just printing a page, you know, and not using it, I recommend if you're making a small size just to scroll through the file and see if there are any pages that you don't need to print. So that's the case for 6 to 9 month, but I'm going back to size 5 and I will need all pages. Okay, now you're just going to press File, Print, and a dialog box will come up. Now again, I'm on a Mac. This will look different if you're on a PC or if you're on an older operating system of Mac, or various reasons. So what I want to do now is print only the first page, and the reason we do that is here's a little thumbnail of the first page here. There's a box here. We need to measure it and make sure that it's printing correctly. Okay, so we go to Pages to Print. So I'm going to choose page 1 only. And I need to make sure that the scale is 100%. So the default size is not 100% usually. It's around 97%, annoyingly close, but not quite right. So do go and check the scale. That's very, very important. So do not choose fit, because it will just make the image fit the page, and that will definitely not be the right size. You can either choose actual size, or if you choose custom scale, put in 100% if it's not already there. Don't shrink, and don't choose paper source by PDF page size. So my dialog box is giving me the option of actual size or custom scale 100%. Either one of those will work. Now, when we come down to this box here, this one is a bit, this does trip people up sometimes. So this is page orientation. It is how the image is placed onto the page. So if we chose landscape, you can clearly see that that's not going to work, and it's going to cut off all the information. If you choose portrait, you would think that it would work, but it's actually putting the image up to the top left-hand corner of the page, which we do not want. We want to maintain those generous margins around the image so that we can overlap our pages and tape them together. So I'm going to choose auto, and that should just put the image right in the middle of the page. Right, and that should be all you need to do. I always check grayscale, black and white, because I don't want to see the color. I'm kind of used to cutting these things out. If you want to see, if you're printing only one size, then there's not really much advantage to printing in color. I would definitely choose black and white to save ink. If you're printing the entire size range, you may like to print in color. It just helps you, if you're not used to it, seeing where the lines are. Okay, but I'm going to print in black and white. So, and then I'm going to press print. I'm going to go to my printer and see what's printed out. Okay, so this is what has printed off for me, just page 1. And I'm going to check that the scale is correct by measuring either the inside or the outside box. I'm in New Zealand and we use centimetres here, so I'm measuring 5 centimetres by 5 centimetres on the inside box, which is perfect. If I was in the US, I would measure the outside box in inches. Okay, so I'm satisfied that the page has printed correctly. The image is centered in the page, which is going to be helpful when we start cutting up the pattern and gluing it together. So now I'm going to print off the rest of the pages.